Can we raise the roof for our final our final speaker, our final talk of the incredible Awaken Afterlife Convention? If you're not here, get here. Sit your beautiful butts, the gluteus maximus, largest muscle in the body, get down. And can I get a loud round of applause, please, for our last speaker, Dylan Smith.
Thank you. How good are the MCs here? Seriously. Like, I've had 2 MCs and they've been great. Okay, so how many people here, just so I can get an idea, have been to one of my previous talks? Or how many people have not? All right, so today is the most general topic on Ayurveda. And how many people here are new to Ayurveda? Like maybe you've heard the word but don't really know what it is? Okay, so the best way to explain it is by looking at the Sanskrit word Ayurveda. Ayur means life, Veda means science. So it's really the science of life. How to live life according to science. What does the science mean? It means the laws of nature. How does nature operate? What are the mechanics of natural law? And when we understand those mechanics, we live life with health, but more specifically, we live life with dharma, karma, artha, moksha. So dharma is what is the most evolutionary thing you can be doing in any moment. Second thing, when you understand the laws of nature and you live life according to that, you live with karma, which is pleasure, joy. And we want to be pleasurable. We want to engage in relationships and love and activities that are pleasurable. Artha is abundant, so we want to have abundance of health, abundance of vitality, abundance of immunity, abundance of resources like good quality water and food and everything. And then moksha, which is liberation. So when we, again, Ayurveda, the science of life, when you understand the laws of nature and you live your life according to that nature, you tap into your own human nature, which is dharma, karma, artha, moksha, liberation from disease, liberation from imbalance, ultimately health. So this is the aim of Ayurveda, 4 things, and that's what it achieves. So just, sorry, this, yeah, whoops. So, just quickly about me to introduce myself. My name's Dylan, and this is my teachers, the Raju family from South India, who I'm very blessed to work with because a lot of Ayurveda has been misunderstood, miscommunicated, lost with different invasions, the Mughal invasions, the British invasions, and there's some pockets of families that have kept an unbroken lineage, and this is one of them. And I have a clinic in northern New South Wales and work as well here in Sydney. I have a couple practitioners right here in the front row who also work in Sydney, and we have a tent, and yeah, it's a great thing. It's spreading more and more, the authentic Ayurveda. This is, I won't go into too much, but Veda is like where yoga comes from, meditation comes from. So it's not just Ayurveda, it's the Pacha Veda, Vedic architecture, astrology, and Dharva Veda, the sounds of the laws of nature, the Yajur Veda, the ceremony aspect. So the essence of Ayurveda is to live, so this is a quote by Joseph Campbell, the goal of life is to make your heartbeat match the beat of the universe, to match your nature with nature. So it's really understanding that our human nature is health. We have the memory of health. Right? Even if you've had an autoimmune condition for 30 years, say you've had rheumatoid arthritis for 30 years, so your immune system's been attacking your joints for 30 years, still you have the memory. Your human nature is to not do that. You were born with good joints, you were born with good immune system, and even if you had some malformations at birth, still there's a memory on the cellular level. So the way that Ayurveda approaches health or disease or treatment or anything is primarily to remind the body of health. We need to re-enkindle that memory. Like even, for example, someone has a thyroid tumor growing in the thyroid gland. What's happening is the cells are creating more and more. They're growing and they're multiplying. But that's not what a tumor should be doing. It means that's not what cancer cells should be doing. Everyone right now in this room has cancer cells. But hopefully, mostly everyone in this room does not have the cancer disease, but your cancer cells are what's called autophagy. They're dying. The cancer cell dies, and then a white stem cell takes over. But when the cancer disease is there, it's not dying, it keeps multiplying. So that in that case with the cancer disease, the memory of health has been lost. That intelligence, that cellular intelligence has been lost. It's not dying, it's not creating autophagy, it keeps multiplying and growing. So we have the memory of cellular intelligence and cellular health, and we just need to remind the body of that. So that's the primary thing we do. You know, in Ayurveda, we work with tumors, we shrink tumors, we have very powerful methods to do that. Same with fibroids and cysts, all these kind of growth, imbalances of growths. But that's the primary treatment is to enkindle the intelligence in the body so it doesn't keep growing. And it's all about reminding the body. So in Ayurveda, there's, of course, the 5 elements: space, air, fire, water, earth. And the essence, I'm not going to go into this too much. Someone asked earlier about doshas, but Vata, Pitta, Kapha. It's just a summary of the 5 elements, and it shows everything in the universe is of these 5 elements. Every person, every cup of cacao, every cup of tea, every plant, every herb, it's all 5 elements. So when you understand the 5 elements, you can understand the qualities of nature and learn how to balance. Oh, right now I'm drinking a cup of cacao. It's very heating and stimulating. So it's got fire element. It's also got water element because it was made with water, but then it's also got rose inside the cacao. So it's got more of that earth and water element, that cooling, grounding, and a bit of air because roses have that astringent kind of, that very light energy. So like that, when you understand the 5 elements, you can say, okay, well, this cacao that's heating and stimulating, well, maybe because I am feeling very sluggish in my lymphatic system, this is going to move some things, and then the rose as well moves the lymph. So it's like detecting in any substance, in any activity, the elements, and then learning how to balance those elements with whatever. Or I have a cough or a congestion, so eating yogurt is exactly that same thing. It's like cough and congestion is water element, earth element, it's heavy mucus, wet, damp. So if you have a cough and like mucus, the worst thing you can eat is yogurt, which is heavy, wet, damp, and that's just going to increase it. Instead, a cacao would be better. So this is generally, I'm not going to go into too much, but why I wanted to introduce the 5 elements was to just show an example of how the elements dominate at different parts of the day. Sorry, it's a bit lagging. And that's like, so in the fire time, like how many people were at my talk on the sun today? So, we spoke about how it's not important about how many hours you sleep. It does not matter about how many hours you sleep. I repeat, it does not matter about how long you sleep for. It matters when you sleep. So the time to sleep between 10 and 2, as you can see in this graph, which I didn't show earlier today, the pitta time, which is the fire time, fire is metabolism, transformation. So your body is metabolizing everything. It's transforming the liver. It's transforming the hormones. What we spoke about today is melatonin is maximum at 10 till 2. And interestingly, once I was touring Australia with my teacher, feeling the pulses of many patients, hundreds of patients. And one year we saw a lot of nutrient deficiencies. As there's a lot of nutrient deficiencies anyway around the world, there's epidemics of them. And he was saying the reason was not because they weren't eating well, is because they weren't sleeping well. They weren't sleeping between 10 till 2. Because between 10 till 2 at night is when we absorb the micronutrients from those foods. So you can pop all the supplements, you can eat all the best food, but if you're not sleeping well, then you're not going to actually get it into your tissues and into your cells. And another thing is, in 10 till 2 in the day is again fire time. So in midday is when the sun's the highest, our digestive fire is the strongest. And that's the time to eat your main meal at midday. When it's nighttime, the sun's down, your digestion's down, so have a very light dinner. As I said today, it's not just about about when you sleep, it's about how you sleep. And one of the factors about how you sleep, are you sleeping with a full stomach? Are you sleeping after a heavy dinner? Then your body is going to neglect all those vital sleep processes like hormone regulation, liver detox, and whatever you need to heal, whatever your weak spot is. If you have a joint issue, if you have a bone issue, if you have a mental issue, whatever is your imbalances, sleep is going to be a big time for your body to attend to that. But if you have a heavy dinner and or a late dinner, it's going to neglect that because all the blood is going to go into your gut and stay there. So number 1 take home, if you want to add to your notes, have a light dinner. Make it light and make it early. And if you eat meat, I suggest keeping it vegetarian. Keep the meat at lunchtime. Anything heavy, if you like desserts, if you like takeaway foods, try have it at lunch where you have a stronger digestive capacity, and reserve dinner for something light so that when you eat it, you can sleep and you can attend to your vital processes. And there's other, I just spoke about the fire time, or what we call the pitta time. Then there's 6 till 10 a.m. is kapha. Kapha is earth element. Earth and water. Heavy, sluggish, slow. So how many people, you know from experience, if you wake up at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., as opposed to 6 a.m. or 5 a.m., when you wake up at 8, 9 a.m., you feel pretty lazy that day, right? The more you sleep in, the more lazy and slow and sluggish you'll feel. That's because you're waking up with the earth element. You're waking up with that slow, heavy, congesting quality that stays with you the whole day. But if you wake up earlier in the Vata time, 2 till 6 a.m., which is if you wake up with space element, and when the air element is dominant in the atmosphere, that's more creativity, lightness, feeling energetic, feeling enthusiastic. And when you wake up before sunrise, how good is it the whole day, even though you had less sleep, apparently less sleep, but you were lying down for less time, but you have more energy and more creativity, feel lighter. So that's why yogis and people meditate then at that time before sunrise, or some people like to do work then. So this is an example of living in tune with natural law, living in tune with nature and understanding the elements expressing. And that kapha time is again 6 till 10 p.m., which is the best time to go to sleep. We want to go to sleep with that heaviness, sluggishness. If you go to sleep after 10 o'clock, it's fire. It's like the second wind. Your metabolism's active. How many of you have noticed if you go to sleep after 10 o'clock, it's actually harder to get to sleep than if you go to sleep before 10? By show of hands. Yeah, it's a common thing that people feel. A lot of my clients report that. So this is the reason why. So anyway, now that the slide won't change, but these are the 3 pillars of health in Ayurveda. Oh, so here's the seasonal routine. So that's just I'm not even going to go into that. But 3 pillars of health, just in general, we'll speak a bit about them. Ahara, Nidra, Brahmacharya. So the 3 pillars of understanding Ayurveda, understanding the laws of nature. And remember, Ayurveda is principles. It's natural law. It can be applied to any single human. Whatever culture, whatever climate you live in, whatever customs or tradition you uphold, whatever preferences you like, chocolate, you like sleeping, whatever it is, you like TV, movies, anything, anyone. It's the laws of nature and it's universal knowledge. So this is the importance. These are very important things in life. Food, what you put in, has a huge impact on creating the tissue that is your flesh, as well as the mental and emotional. But because food is, which includes water, it's the biggest thing we consume. The most regular thing we consume is, in terms of real mass, which is making up our physiology, is the food. So it's very important. Sleep, of course, is important. And Brahmacharya means regime of creativity. So the regime of whatever you're creating in life, such as whether it's, it includes progeny and sexual relationships and conception, but it also makes creating your day, creating the creation of the day, of the seasons, so seasonal regime and daily regime and lunar regime for a woman, or menstrual regime, any kind of cycles, any rhythms. And today I'm just going to speak about some simple things you can do to start 5 Ayurvedic practices you can start today. You may have heard a bunch of them. If you're familiar with Ayurveda, you definitely would have, but we'll do that and then we'll go to questions. The first one is something very profound. Actually a profound detox daily thing you can do for detox procedure. And it may sound simple, but it's and that is sip hot water. And just sip hot water. Plain hot water. Like hot water washes grease off dirty dishes, it does the same in your intestines. You sip hot water, cleanses the toxins. Hot water dilates, it opens the channels. So it's very good to open the lymphatic system to drain. Lymph is so important. There's about twice the amount of lymph than there's blood in the body. And lymph is what circulates your immune system, and it's what kind of takes toxins from different tissues and takes it to the toilet. So when we need dilation, we need to open up our channels. Most of us are too constricted. We're either stressed, anxious, trying to hide, or muscles are tense, especially lower abdomen for a woman, the belly for a woman, but men also, and all other genders. They're tense in that area. We need to open up, relax, let your belly become like a Buddha, and just open the channels, move the things. Hot water is one good way to do that, and also cleanse on the way those channels. And cold water will constrict, as I said, but it also puts out the digestive fire. We have this metabolic fire in our gut. Think of it like a fire. It's got hydrochloric acid, enzymes, which are all very fiery. So you don't want to put that out. We need to have the fire burning to metabolize anything in our life, whether it's food, water, or impressions or emotions. We need to have strong fire. In Ayurveda, there's a shloka which says, Sarve peroganam eka karanam mandu analaha, which means, Sarve peroganam, out of all the diseases, there's one cause, and that is poor digestive fire. We need to have good digestion, and that will metabolize anything into nectar. So sip hot water. And it's not about how many... And I spoke today about proper hydration, intracellular hydration. One way to do that, because we're in epidemics of dehydration for those who weren't at the talk. Most people are dehydrated. If we're sipping hot water, we're going to get it into the cells more because of the dilation effect, especially when it's good quality water. So sipping hot water, don't think about how much water. Another problem is people think, oh, it's good to drink 3 liters a day. That actually can put pressure on the kidneys and cause urinary tract infections or prostate problems. So there's actually a phenomenon of people drinking too much water. So we need to just sip water throughout the day, sip hot water, and or drink according to your thirst. Second is scrape your tongue. How many people here scrape their tongue? Everyone keep your hand up who scrapes their tongue. Now, if you had to have a choice, scraping tongue or brushing teeth, you could only choose one. If it's scrape the tongue, keep the hand up. Now everyone look around. See, most people have kept their hand up. About 1 or 2 people put their hands down, and that's because they're probably not scraping within 3 minutes of waking up. Is that right? That's right. So that's because when you sleep, your body detoxifies. One of the elimination channels is your mouth, your tongue. So it will bring the toxins there. You will see a coating on your tongue. It might be whitish. It might be yellowish. If it's black or brown, please consult me. I'm in Sydney tomorrow and Tuesday consulting. But otherwise, you have to get that off within 3 minutes of waking. After 3 minutes, and that means waking, not getting out of bed. When you wake up, about after 3 minutes, there's a phenomenon when everything starts moving again, and those toxins will go back into the body, primarily the respiratory tract and the digestive tract. So when you wake up in the morning, don't snooze, just first thing, go, wash your face, brush your teeth, and scrape your tongue. And we recommend pure copper tongue scraper because we have a stall with tongue scrapers, and some people have been coming with saying, oh, I use one woman said today, I have stainless steel, it doesn't feel right, or plastic also. But that's the problem, is they absorb the bad bacteria. Copper is the best antibacterial. I'm part of a company which just launched a gold tongue scraper, because in Ayurveda you can use gold, silver, and copper. And the gold is great. Gold is a good aphrodisiac. It rejuvenates the body. It's very good anti-aging. Silver is good as an anti-wrinkle, as a hydration. But when it comes to oral health, I don't think you can beat the good old cheap copper, because it's the best antibacterial. They've done studies in hospitals where they replaced furnishings of the hospital with copper. They put the handlebars of the bed, the handles of the doors, and that reduced the bacterial load, just that in itself. So copper is a fantastic... Just having a tongue scrape in your bathroom has an antibacterial effect, let alone if you lined your bathroom with copper. That's an awesome thing to do. So just gently, it takes less than 10 seconds, go to the back of your tongue and scrape off that toxic residue. And it's cheap as they last for decades, and you don't really need to maintain them. Just wash them with water. So scraping your tongue goes without saying. The third one, if anyone wants to guess why this loads, it's pretty hard to guess. But light dinner. Oh, great, I already spoke about that. I don't need to speak about that again. But just to emphasize, really make the dinner light, make it early. Soups are great. There's an Ayurvedic dish called khichdi, but especially if you're in the habit of eating heavy foods, try avoid meat, cheese, and for you, just moving to vegetarian will be great. Wake up with the sun, and Graham, I've already spoken about all these things. We can get to other stuff. But that's what I just spoke about earlier, right? So when you wake up in that Vata time, which is air and space time, where there's more creativity, clarity, lightness of being, that sticks with you for the day. There's now known, there's studies of whatever you look at, what's the first thing that you look at in the day? Right? If whatever you do for the first thing, that sticks with you. So if you look at Instagram or social media, that's going to be that dopamine desire for dopamine every day is going to come like every hour or even every half an hour. You're going to keep going. But if you wake up and kind of do some meditation, do some movement, do something which really fulfills you on a deeper level rather than a dopamine hit, then you're going to be more in the energy and the craving to do those more deeper fulfilling practices for the whole day. And even Ayurveda goes more specific, is literally what is the first thing you're looking at. And it's said to look at something auspicious. And one of the things you can do is look at your hands. Just first thing, you open, rub your hands together and just look at them. Because your hands is one of the auspicious things, and that has all your life in it. I was just speaking to the palm reader, Ian Cameron, and there's so much, palmistry is a thing. Your whole destiny, your whole astrology is there. And the fifth one is eat cooked foods. And avoid raw foods. There's 10 main principles of nutrition in Ayurveda, and as we saw, nutrition was the first pillar of those 3 pillars, which is those 3 pillars, by the way, in order of hierarchy of importance. The number one thing is food. Eat cooked foods, avoid raw foods. Because most people here, and I can say in this room especially, most people here have poor digestive strength. So don't make your digestive... I'll use the Sanskrit word so I don't have to keep saying digestive fire, which is longer. And here's one Sanskrit word you can learn. I've already taught you one word, Ayurveda, or kind of 2 words. Ayur means life, Veda means science. I'll just teach you one word for now, and you might have to write it down, especially if you find Sanskrit hard. But the word is Agni. 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 And Agni... How many people have heard the word Agni? Oh, I love it. Awesome. So I can really use that word. So Agni means fire, but it can mean in many contexts, especially digestive fire. So why make our Agni do all the cooking? Let the kitchen do some cooking. Take the strain off your Agni. You don't have to cook the hell out of foods, but use the kitchen. Then when you eat it, it's much easier to absorb and metabolize and get the nutrients. Right? People say, but raw foods has so many nutrients. Well, that's partly true with some foods. Some foods actually has more nutrients that become active and easily bioavailable once it is cooked. But even though that is true for some foods, like, you reduce some iron content when you cook the spinach or the dandelion. However, if it's raw, it's going to be hard for you to digest that. So... that's what I just said, how you're going to absorb them. And cooked raw foods also can irritate the intestinal wall. That's why a great treatment or a great protocol to do for healing cancer is, and you probably have heard, is like raw food or green juices or juice diet, because it's very cleansing. It's very good at getting the body rid of these excess cells and to reactivate this autophagy. I mean, fasting in general is one of the best interventions for cancer and autophagy, but it has a very cleansing. But the problem with juices and raw juices and vegetable juices is it cleanses the good tissue also, and that's the problem with raw foods. And some people, times when you go on like a raw food diet, you might feel this initial hit of energy, but it doesn't last long. And you ask any kind of raw vegan person, it's very hard to find raw vegans that have been doing it for more than 5 years, 10 years, especially 20 years. Like most of them go back, especially if it's raw, because they eventually get depleted because it's detoxifying the good tissue. It's a rough scrubbing. We want to be more nourishing and harmonious on the system. So, and even some vegetables have, so artichokes, when they're cooked, they get more antioxidants. And again, you can just steam it. You don't have to cook it heaps. And should I point? Maybe I should. Okay, blueberries. Okay, so fruit nature cooks. When the sun ripens a fruit, it's cooked. So that's that form of cooking. It's not just cooking on fire. I'll share with you other ways to cook. But blueberries, they actually get more antioxidant levels when they're baked and more polyphenols. So carrots have more vitamin A, beta carotene. So that's that very important factor for immunity and skin. And again, you don't have to cook the hell out of it, and you can eat carrots raw as well. There's a few foods that Ayurveda specifies that you can eat raw. Carrots, beetroot, lettuce, cucumber, tomatoes, technically a fruit, and radish, garlic, onion. But still, even though you can eat carrots raw, it's not like eating kale raw, not a good idea. Spinach raw, very bad idea. Eating broccoli raw, very bad idea. I don't know why some people do it. But carrots you can, but it's still going to be easier for digestion to cook it. So studies have also done on broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage, which all have iodinol 3, which is a powerful anti-cancer molecule, even more anti-cancer and antioxidant than vitamin C. Particularly good for prostate cancer. So obviously broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, cabbage some people eat raw, but here's one of the things with Agni, with fire, it doesn't just have to be cooking on a flame. Like there's preserving. So mixing it with vinegar, making sauerkraut, or fermenting it. This is also a form of fire. Fire is transformation. The number one quality of Agni is transformation. So everything needs to be transformed. Even milk raw from a cow, wonderful, you're getting it raw from a cow, now it's become trendy and health fad. This is great, it's wonderful, but it still should be transformed, it still should be boiled. So everything needs transformation. Spinach, how many people have heard of oxalates by show of hands? So spinach is very high in oxalic acid, which are these crystals, and they not only prevent the iron from being absorbed, which spinach is such a wonderfully iron-rich food, they bind to iron and calcium, but oxalates, as you would have heard, now have become a dirty word, and they cause issues with kidneys and joints. Like I have some patients, particularly one that's on my mind, who's so sensitive to oxalates that they can't even eat a bit of spinach, a bit of certain nut without their joints swelling up. This is like hypersensitivity to oxalates and also lectins, and that's why the carnivore diet has become popular, because it's so simple. It's like what they're taking in is just a variety of different amino acids and different food. It's not sophisticated, complex, but it's not solving the issue. They're not, like, if you can't digest spinach or a vegetable, like, what does that mean? How are you going to digest the stress, the pesticides in the water, the fluoride in the water? Like, how are you going to metabolize other things in life? It's the same with just leaving, okay, I'm not going to eat gluten, I'm not going to eat dairy. Like, a lot of naturopaths have that approach. It's just like, okay, stop that. It's like, hold on, you're just stopping that. What about fixing the underlying issue? Why can't you digest wheat? Why can't you digest gluten or dairy? Okay, maybe the gluten and dairy is poor quality, which happens. You need to get good quality wheat, not processed white flour, and have the wheat that has been fresh. So don't eat bread the next day. Only eat wheat that's baked that day. But yeah, I want to eat wheat. I enjoy pasta and pizza, especially in a place like Italy. How can you not eat wheat in a place like that? I just came from there 2 days ago. But yeah, I was thinking, imagine being gluten-free in this country. So we want to have good digestive strength. We want to have good Agni. We want to actually work on the root cause, not just eliminate foods. So spinach, the way to remove the oxalates from spinach is very easy. All you do is blanch spinach in boiling water for about 30 seconds, and that will take all the oxalates out. Then chuck that water out, wash the spinach in cold water, and you have basically oxalate-free spinach. And that is basically, a good amount of cooking as well. Like, that's nice. So many cultures do this. India does it, Italy does it, but people don't know it all the time. Other foods that have oxalates, spinach is by far the most common one. Beetroot leaves, if you like to eat beetroot leaves, especially if you're buying it with the leaves or you grow beetroot, you can definitely eat the leaves. They're very tasty, but do the same thing. It has oxalates. Even silver beet also. Silver beet, you have to do that same thing. And rhubarb leaves, which is one other, and that's mostly it. That's mostly it of the common leafy green vegetables. So you should all do that with the spinach. And of course, raw spinach have those issues. Tomatoes also have higher vitamin C and lycopene, which is even more powerful antioxidant, when they're done. So it shows that the vitamin C levels do decrease when being cooked. So definitely things get decreased, but the lycopene's more. With tomatoes also, every food in Ayurveda needs purification. So with tomatoes, the way to purify is to remove the skin, which is pretty easy once it's boiled. It just slides off. And the seeds, which maybe is not as easy. But, you can do whatever you like, whenever you like. So, and these are just a list of the foods that you can eat raw. Ginger, radish, I said, fenugreek leaves, mustard leaves, all these things. But still they will have a good effect when they're cooked. And again, you don't have to cook the hell out of the foods. Just a little bit of cooking, steaming soups you can do. Yes, use clay pots, retain water. Always use oil. I spoke about this in the dementia talk that I did yesterday. Is food should always have some good fat, good unctuousness. That's another quality. And one of the best fats is ghee. So, yeah, that's it. We can do some questions as well. So let's just sum them up so you just remember, you know what, we'll test our memories. So number one, food should be cooked. Second one, sip hot water. Just yell out, popcorn, the 5 principles. Rise with the sun. Scrape your tongue. Sip hot water. Meditate. It wasn't one of them, but we'll go back to that. Anyone else? Light dinner, yes, and eat cooked foods. So, and meditate, definitely. And in terms of daily routine, that's absolutely essential. Every day, twice a day. And once a day doesn't budge. Well, if you're doing once a day meditation, it's like just maintaining the day, maintaining the stress of the day. When you start doing twice a day, you start removing what's accumulated over the past. And you just 20 minutes twice a day will be enough. You'll start removing what's accumulated in the physical, mental, emotional. Any questions? No. Okay. What time do we finish? Oh, we got 7 minutes. Okay, great. Well, any other topics that you want to speak about? Self-oil massage. So, I don't think, in fact, I have some, look at that. So, self-oil massage, I've spoken, I think, about in every single talk except for the ancestors talk, but Abhyanga is the crucial, who here showers every day? So some people don't. So it's okay, but it should be part of the daily routine. So in Ayurveda, daily routine is very important, and showering, it's pretty easy, right? It's not a chore, but just like showering every day is that easy, similarly every day you should put oil on the body and lubricate. It should be that fundamental as showering. So every time you shower, before the shower, just put oil on the body and give yourself a massage. It can be coconut oil in the summer, it can be sesame oil in the winter, or medicated oil is ideal. And for that, you can see online, you can download a poster, but it especially is for the nervous system. All your nerve endings end at the skin. You have trillions of nerve endings. There's no better way to access the nervous system through this massage. That's why for people with anxiety or sleep issues, it's very effective. But anything, if you have a day that you're a big day ahead or something which you're a bit nervous about or anything, it's very powerful and very grounding, very in your body. For people who are feeling, like one woman I was speaking to, her daughter has anxiety and eating disorders, like these people who are feeling, they're like feeling like a foreigner in their body. They're not comfortable in their own body. They don't like themselves, which by the way can lead to autoimmune conditions. Like you need to enjoy yourself and touching yourself, massaging, getting to know yourself. I've had a couple patients detect a tumor Like one woman found a breast tumor or a lump in her breast through self-massage, got it checked up, happened to be breast cancer. So it's really getting to know your body and knowing yourself. And it should be as fundamental as shower. It's very good for lymphatic drainage, I spoke about, like sipping the hot water to circulate your immune system, to circulate the detox, especially once you hit menopause and past menopause. When you start losing estrogen production from the ovaries, you will keep producing estrogen, but the main place it's produced is the skin and the fat. And the best way to optimize estrogen production is through self-oil massage because it activates that. So when you're doing that every day, I guarantee you, especially if you start earlier than later, you will prevent osteopenia and osteoporosis, bone degeneration, because it improves, one, your skin physiology so you can absorb the vitamin D from the sun and get the calcium in the bones. Two, it can actually penetrate the bones, especially when you use sesame oil, and even better, a medicated oil. We have even specific oils for bone, for osteopenia or low bone density. But in general, any oil, it will help the bones, the joints. It prevents. When you're giving yourself an oil massage, it can take 10 minutes, it can take 2 minutes, it can take 15 minutes. It prevents so many things. Prevents, and Ayurveda spoke about it thousands of years ago. It prevents injuries. You know what the most common injury I see in my clinic is? Sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day. Sitting. It prevents osteoporosis. It prevents neurodegeneration. Like I said, when the brain degenerates, it's just the spine and the brain is drying out. So when we're lubricating our spine as much as we can reach, it prevents so much. It prevents joint conditions, osteoarthritis when the joints degenerate, even rheumatoid arthritis when the toxins accumulate in the joints, when the circulation is happening so well every day in the joints. It will prevent. So massage yourself every day with oil. I'll repeat, coconut oil in the summer, sesame in the winter. We also have herbs that you can mix into oil yourself and make your own medicated oil. If you're going to do it, if you use medicated oil, that's ideal. It will do more of a detoxifying effect. And just get in that habit. Start with weekends. You know, if it's new to you, just start on a weekend. Put a towel like you would do a yoga mat, and like you just do the massage before your shower, and you'll feel the difference without a doubt. And this is a poster. You can learn to do it, and there's instructions. This is just one of 2 pages, and you can go to our website, type in self-massage, and you can download that poster for free. And you can get it as well done if there's space left. I don't know, but we have 2 women here and Athena. They're finished, but they're in Bondi and Kat's in Inner West. So you can speak to Kat and Maddie, and Athena's in Sutherland. And you can get done and you can experience how it feels. It's, you know, we want every day for you to do yourself, but it's also, one, it's great research to know how it is and how much oil and how to feel, but it's more than a massage, and it's more like a treatment, and it's really to enkindle the prana in the body, the life force through the spine, and distribute it throughout the cells, and then that creates the self-healing. It's a very profound treatment. I can't hear, sorry. What was that? Yeah, the diagram, you won't be able to read it, and it's actually the half of the diagram. The main half is actually the second page. You're going to have to go online and download it. But yes. So massage, there you go. Thank you for asking. And yes, something to be done every day. And we have medicated oils. We have the herbs to make your own medicated oil. Also, you can just use plain coconut and sesame oil. Yeah, can we have the microphone? No, say everyone can hear. It's better.
Oh, it's just a quick question. I know you said ghee was the best oil. I was just wondering, is coconut oil almost as good to use for cooking?
It's probably the second best choice, especially because it's got a high smoke point. So any oil, once it hits its smoke point, which is when it smokes, it becomes rancid, which is very toxic for the liver, more toxic than eating candy. So coconut oil also has a pretty high smoke point. But yes, if you're vegan or you don't want to eat dairy products, coconut oil is probably definitely the best choice.
Thank you.
But it doesn't have the brain effect like ghee does. Ghee can really nourish the brain really well. Okay, thank you very much. If anyone has personal questions or anything they want us to ask, I'll be at the Vital Veda. Oh, one more you can ask. But we've got 2 tents. It's wrapping up now, but we're going to wrap up now. But we have
it's going to be a quick one. So you mentioned about drinking hot water. I'm curious to know, can I have ice creams?
Well, ice creams is the same with cold foods and cold drinks. It's going to create that constricting channel. So, look, even if you eat ice cream, enjoy it. That's what my teacher used to always say, like, enjoy whatever you eat. But cold things in general, like what I do, like I just mentioned, I was in Italy and I definitely had gelato. But I would like just let it sit for a bit in the sun, just like increase a bit temperature, like don't have that ice cold. But in general, it's preferred to have not cold desserts.
Got it. Thank you.
Ice cream is one of the probably worst foods you can eat, actually, especially if it's not natural.
Hi, Dylan. I wanted to make a comment about what you were saying about self-abhyanga, and then just being more conscious about living an Ayurvedic lifestyle. I'm not vegetarian, but I do eat meat. And what I will say is I am in that kind of menopausal category, and because I've changed and been really conscious, I have next to no hot flushes, no night sweats. I have a little bit of the memory things, but largely I am pretty much symptom free. So just a plug for people to be more conscious, to do self-abhyanga.
And I spoke yesterday about the new normal for health. Like one of the norms is becoming it's normal to get hot flushes, but actually the natural state of menopause is you just go to that, like nothing happened. It's just a bleeding stopped. And I've seen it in many people, and I've seen it in people who follow Ayurveda or who get certain treatments. Like it's very obvious. And that's great. It's a good testament. It's very common. In India, a lot of people, stress is about that. Yeah. And the body keeps producing estrogen. You don't need HRT. You need it if you're in a very certain state. It might be relevant, but the body stops it for a reason, and the body does keep producing it, just not from the ovaries. There's other ways for the adrenal glands, the skin, even the joints. Thank you very much.